and welcome to our CWA Awards ceremony. I'm CWA Secretary-Treasurer Sarah Steffens. Normally, we present these awards during our convention, but due to the time constraints of our virtual convention a few weeks ago, we were not able to do that. But I'm thrilled that we now have the opportunity to celebrate with our whole extended CWA family. These awards recognize our achievements over the past 2 years, and what a 2-year period it has been. Since our CWA convention in 2019, we have feared for our lives and the lives of our union family members. We have mourned coworkers and loved ones. Thousands of CWA members have been laid off, some temporarily, but many face permanent job loss. Despite everything we have endured, we have been there for each other, and we have been there for the increasing number of workers who want to join our union. So the first set of awards that we're going to present tonight honor excellence in organizing. Over the past 2 years, we have welcomed almost 15,000 new members to our CWA family. They have overcome the many, many barriers that stand in the way of workers who want to join together to build power. These barriers have been put in place by the ultra-wealthy CEOs of multinational corporations who, along with their political and judicial allies, have spent the past 50 years undermining the National Labor Relations Act and other laws designed to protect workers. The pandemic has been a new kind of barrier. I became part of the labor movement through organizing, and I know that in-person, one-on-one conversations are what give people the courage to take the risks that are necessary to build public support for a union. The pandemic shut down a lot of that. But you all adapted and flourished, becoming experts in using Zoom and Slack and other digital tools to connect with each other, to share your hopes and dreams and fears. And you have done it with joy. You don't have to take my word from it. Let's hear directly from some of those 15,000 new CWA members.
They said Miami couldn't bring the heat.
They said Arizonans are too prickly. Like Chihuahua.
Kansas, they wouldn't be game for it.
And folks in Dallas don't like things to get messy.
Artists are too busy being inspired.
Bankers are too elitist.
Activists are too busy saving the world.
And comedians just won't take it seriously.
But they were wrong.
So wrong.
Very, very wrong.
This year, we organize unions across the nation.
We all organize unions in our workplaces.
Even when everyone said it wasn't possible.
Even when everyone said it wasn't possible.
Please watch this video to learn about the organizing features of CWA's brand new fleet of 2020 to 2021 campaigns.
I work for Beneficial State Bank in Treasury Management Services.
I'm a campaigns manager at the National Audubon Society.
I'm an IHX worker at AT&T.
I'm a paratherapeutic.
I'm an art history PhD student.
A lighting designer.
I teach improv and sketch.
Energy justice campaigner.
Finance associate.
Full-time software engineer at Google.
Game developer.
One of the big issues that I had was wages,
diversity, and inclusion.
Inadequate health care.
I was being underpaid. There was not much communication with management. There wasn't as much transparency.
McClatchy, which owns the Miami Herald, did not offer any paid parental leave.
It feels like there's a hierarchy of power and that some staffers aren't as appreciated as others.
Of course, after discussing this with coworkers, I learned that this was a shared sentiment.
The moment that I realized, wait a minute, you mean I could actually change something? That was a huge moment. And when I realized that's what a union could do, my mind was blown. It changed everything.
During a global pandemic over Zoom, we collectively organized across 3 cities and 2 countries with different laws and different staff.
We came and did a bunch of direct actions, socially distanced and safely.
130 journalists stood together and we voted to stand up for ourselves. And that paved the way for other newsrooms in Texas to unionize.
The power of collective bargaining gave us a seat at the table to negotiate higher raises, better working conditions for workers, in a safe and non-toxic environment.
It allowed me to just form better relationships.
Organizing a union has really made me feel like a more compassionate person about caring for my other colleagues.
All workers deserve a union, whether they're installing solar panels or working as a teacher or are part of a movement like ours.
I feel a lot stronger. I feel like we're actually a team, and that feels really good to feel like somebody has your back.
I am bolder than I knew.
I'm really awkward most of the time, and so it's been really cool to be able to branch out of that awkwardness because I care about liberation.
Putting all these people together in a room and freely discussing their fears, there was definitely strength and power in that.
If a bunch of comedians can successfully organize a union, anybody can and should do it.
When we stand together as a union, that power starts to shift into our hands.
I love CWA. I love PAL. I think we're going to do great things for this district.
To be a part of the CWA community just feels right. There's a sense of belonging.
My message is for my coworkers across the country to organize and build power within the CWA.
Organizing a union changes lives. It changed mine, and we're all here to support one another as we fight for justice and equality across the country.
And with that, it is my honor to introduce the president of our great union, Chris Shelton, to present the President Morton Barr CWA Strong Award.
Thank you, Sarah, and welcome to all the new members who have joined our great union over the past 2 years. When we fight, we win. This is more than just a slogan for us at CWA. This is a legacy passed on to us by previous generations of CWA leaders and activists. At our 2019 convention in Las Vegas, we celebrated a new organizing award, the President Morton Barr CWA Strong Award. In the days before that convention, I was able to sit with Morty and discuss the plans to inaugurate this award in his honor. True to who Morty always was, he wanted to share news of our families, of children, grandchildren, and for Morty, great-grandchildren, and news of our union family. I was able to share with Morty that because of his legacy and the work of thousands of other CWA leaders over the years, our union endured stronger than ever. We presented the first President Morton Barr CWA Strong Award on the afternoon of July 30th, 2019. Morty passed away later that very same night, but I know you feel the power of his leadership and his legacy here with us, just as I absolutely do. We named this award in his honor for the vision, the tenacity Morty brought to union building. Under Morty's direction, we expanded the union to new sectors of the economy, welcoming New Jersey state workers and other public employees into our ranks, and the ITU printers throughout the 1980s. Morty grew our presence in the media sector with affiliation agreements welcoming members at NABIT and the News Guild, and Morty bridged the divide between consumer technology and servicing and manufacturing with CWA's merger with IUE. Morty enhanced mobilization and political action to secure the best for our members, knowing that his power at the bargaining table came from mobilized members in their workplaces and communities. And he knew the power of bargaining to organize new workers, to ensure strength for our members now and in the future. Morty, working with former District 6 Vice President Vic Crawley, oversaw our successful efforts to win card neutrality for wireless workers at SBC, successfully bargaining a path to union membership that would ultimately allow 40,000 wireless workers to join CWA. This year's CWA Strong Awards go to two locals who have continued this legacy of bargaining to organize, of using mobilization and political action to win good jobs for our members today and access to new jobs tomorrow. This year's first award goes to Local 1180 President Gloria Middleton for her local's tireless efforts over 20 years to win representation rights at New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. After decades of anti-union efforts by HHC to depopulate our represented job titles using member mobilization, successive rounds of bargaining, political action, and court litigation, Local 1180 has successfully accreted formerly excluded job titles with over 600 new members. This is being CWA strong. Our second award goes to CWA Local 9400 President Maurice Washington. Local 9400 has represented nearly 2,000 members at the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians Casino for the past 21 years. Multi-union jurisdiction disputes prevented CWA from growing our membership at other First Nation casinos in California. When Local 9400 learned of plans to expand the casino, opening a nearby resort hotel, they bargained to ensure all San Manuel workers would have CWA strong representation, wall to wall. In April of this year, President Washington and his local were successful in bargaining 5 new job classifications into the existing contract. With the facility expansion and his new hiring, Local 9400 will effectively have doubled our existing membership at the San Manuel Resort and Casino. That, brothers and sisters, is CWA strong. Please join me in recognizing these outstanding CWA leaders. We will now be recognizing a group of locals for their special success in external organizing. Since our last convention, each of these locals was able to support over 100 workers in getting formal recognition for a voice at work. CWA's organizing program is built on locals like these. It is now my honor to hand the mic to my brother, former Diversity Board member and former Local 9400 President, District 9 Vice President, Frank Arce. This is Frank's first time presenting these awards, having taken over the committee chair role from former Northeast Diversity Board member and current CWA Local 1040 President, Carolyn Wade. Carolyn stepped back from her executive board duties, but her strong leadership continues. Carolyn, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your contributions and for your service to our great union. With you, side by side, arm in arm, I know there is no fight we cannot win. It was always fitting for Carolyn to give these next awards, as her local has the distinction of having received this award more times than any other local, a total of 17 times, I believe. Frank, you have quite the legacy to carry forward, and your own local is not too far behind, having won this award 14 times now. Frank?
Thank you, President Shelton. Since our last convention in July 2019, CWA locals from around the country have brought in nearly 15,000 new members through external organizing campaigns. This is more than triple the number of new members that joined from 2017 to 2019. As a result, this year we have almost tripled the number of organizing awards. We will now be recognizing a group of locals for their special success in organizing. In either one or both of the past 2 years, these locals were able to support over 100 workers in gaining formal recognition for a voice at work. It is these locals and the hundreds of others we will not be officially acknowledging up here who keep the spirit of our founding leaders alive in communities across the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. So, to those locals who tried but did not reach the level of 100 new workers, For those in states and bargaining units without union security clauses in your contract, where internal organizing is a daily part of your work. For those in membership organizations without formal recognition and signing up new members is building power and a movement. We want to say your efforts are critical and you inspire us. You know better than anyone the accomplishment of these locals we are about to recognize, who supported over 100 workers in new bargain units to win representation rights. More than 200 locals have received this award at least once. Each local will receive a $1,000 organizing subsidy, as well as a plaque for the current year. Locals who have won this award 5, 10, and 15 times will receive $5,000. So join me as we congratulate these locals. Working together to bring in 1,033 VWXY workers in New Jersey State Workers Bargaining Unit are Local 1031, Monmouth Junction, New Jersey. Local 1032, Ewing, New Jersey. Local 1033, Trenton, New Jersey. Local 1036, West Trenton, New Jersey. Local 1037, Newark, New Jersey. Local 1038, Trenton, New Jersey. Local 1040, Trenton, New Jersey. Additionally, Local 1032 organized 32 workers at Lawrence Ewing Sewer Authority. Local 1037 organized 25 La Casa de Don Pedro workers, and Local 1038 organized 19 Cumberland County Utilities Authority workers. Local 1101, New York, New York. 30 quarters and tech workers at Glitch. 22 software engineers and sales reps at Mobilize. 81 gas service techs at Recon USIC, 75 employees at Blue State Digital, and 13 parking production coordinators. Local 1180, New York, New York, 675 assistant directors at New York City Health and Hospital, 85 workers at National Domestic Workers Alliance, 82 workers at Sunrise Movement, and 131 National Audubon Society employees. Local 1400, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 863 tech workers in the Alphabet Workers Union, and 255 workers at Progressive Tech startup Every Action in partnership with Local 2336. Local 3213, Toronto, Ontario, 80 workers at Postmedia, 111 comedy educators at the Second City, and 23 software engineers at Change.org Canada. Local 31003, New York, New York, 48 workers at People Magazine Digital, 50 Entertainment Weekly employees, 23 workers at Martha Stewart Living, 68 editorial employees at New York Daily News, 25 workers at Shape, 150 media workers at NBC News Digital, 25 employees at People TV, 80 digital workers at Sports Illustrated, 18 The Markup employees, 100 workers at The Atlantic, 83 editorial employees at Bergen Record, Daily Record, New Jersey Herald, 85 employees at Wired, 307 editorial workers at Insider, 100 workers at Forbes, 22 workers at the Atlantic Digital Optimization Team, and 45 journalists at Hudson Valley Publications Guild. Local 31222, New York, New York, 26 workers at Pageant Media, 38 staffers at Democracy Workers Collective, and 150 editors, designers, sales and marketing staff at Oxford University Press. Local 2265, Charlottesville, Virginia, 346 campus workers at the University of Virginia and Virginia Commonwealth University. Local 2336, Washington, District of Columbia, 35 technology and data workers at Catalyst, 255 workers at progressive tech startup Every Action in partnership with Local 1400. Local 32035, Washington, D.C., 12 workers at Inside Higher Ed, 259 employees at Southern Poverty Law Center, 22 Alliance for Justice workers, 14 employees at Jewish Voices for Peace, 16 workers at ACLU, North Carolina, 25 employees at the state, 15 newsroom employees at Charlottesville Daily Progress, 52 workers at Color of Change, 12 island packet workers, 150 staffers at Raíces, Texas, 20 journalists at Washington Magazine, 67 workers at the League of Conservation Voters, 16 employees at Organization United for Respect, 10 workers at Political Research Associates, 58 employees at Indivisible, 50 workers Roanoke Times and Laker Weekly, 10 Verso Publishing workers, 37 employees at American Votes, 15 workers, the Institute for Policy Studies, and 7 newsroom workers at Independent American. The local has won this award 5 times. Local 3108, Orlando, Florida, 8 newsroom workers at Bradenton Herald, 99 journalists at Miami Herald, 3 Miami News Times editorial staff, 53 employees at Orlando Sentinel, 55 newsroom employees at the Palm Beach Post and the Palm Beach Daily News, and 45 workers at Southwest Florida News. Local 3365, Lexington, Kentucky, 319 campus workers at the University of Kentucky. Local 3465, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 144 campus workers at Louisiana State University. Local 3565, Oxford, Mississippi, 161 campus workers at the University of Mississippi. Local 3965, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 129 campus workers at the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa. Local 34071, Chicago, Illinois, 29 newsroom employees at South Bend Tribune, 32 workers at Tribune Content Agency, and 42 SEIU Local 73 staff. Local 6400, Lawrence, Kansas, 394 paraeducators and 350 food services administrative assistants, custodians, and maintenance staff at Lawrence, Kansas school systems. Local 36047, St. Louis, Missouri, 14 newsroom employees at Springfield News Leader, 6 workers at Missourians Organizing for Voter Engagement, 6 employees at Missouri Healthcare for All, 3 workers at Tennessee AFL, 8 workers at ACLU Kansas, 11 journalists at Lawrence Journal World, 11 workers at ACLU Missouri, and 40 Kansas City Star newsroom employees. Local 7055, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 130 employees at Meow Wolf. Local 7065, Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona, 643 campus workers at University of Arizona. Local 7781, Utah, Colorado, Washington, and Montana, 114 ski patrollers at Breckenridge and 103 ski patrollers at Big Sky. Local 7799, Boulder, Denver, and Colorado Springs, Colorado, 259 workers at Denver Health, 497 campus workers at University of Colorado, 154 workers at UC Health, and 84 workers at the Denver Public Library. Local 7901, Portland, Oregon, 16 workers at Our Children's Trust, 5 nonprofit workers at QU, 6 nonprofit workers at OPAL Environmental Justice, Oregon, 99 bank workers at Beneficial Bank, working arm in arm with Local 9412 in Hayward, California. 5 employees at Center for Sustainable Economy, 16 workers at CASA of Oregon, 9 workers at Community Alliance of Tenants, and 10 employees at OFNHP AFT, Local 57T. Local 37002, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 12 Outfront Minnesota workers, 9 Hope Community workers, 21 workers at Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative, 9 workers at Minnesota Council of Nonprofits, 5 Fair Vote Minnesota workers, 10 staff at MinPost, 4 workers at St. Paul Federation of Educators, 19 Centro de Trabajadores Unidos en la Lucha workers, and 12 workers at ACLU, Minnesota. Local 37082, Seattle, Washington, 28 newsroom employees at Columbian, 18 journalists at Idaho Statesman, 14 Longview Daily News journalists, 38 employees at McClatchy Papers, Washington State, and 10 digital journalists at Seattle Times. The Local 9400, Paramount, California, 1,600 San Manuel Resort and Casino workers. The Local has won the award 15 times. Local 9415, Oakland, California, 7 techs at AT&T in Guam, and 102 employees at Center for Biological Diversity. Local 39213, Burbank, California, 49 Austin American Statesman employees, 128 workers at Dallas Morning News, 101 newsroom employees at Arizona Republic, 30 newsroom employees at Fort Worth Star Telegram, 4 Phoenix News Times employees, 28 Pop-Up Magazine workers, 140 workers at Southern California News Group, and 18 the Desert Sun editorial staff. Local 39521, San Francisco, California, 65 daily cost workers, 32 staffers at The Appeal, and 5 developers at the San Francisco Chronicle. Congratulations to all these locals. Now, it is my honor to hand things back to President Shelton to acknowledge more outstanding accomplishments in our efforts to build working class power.
Thank you, Frank. Not only have these locals done incredible work building our union, many of them have decided to donate their award money to support our striking healthcare workers in Buffalo, adding to the flood of CWA Solidarity members and locals' actions the union has shown to our sisters and brothers. Thank you for the following locals who have already pledged to donate their award money: 1031, 1032, 1033, 1036, 1037, 1038, 1040, 1101, 1180, 1400, 31003, 32035, 34071, 7799, 9400, and 39213. Sisters and brothers, I now have the honor of presenting what has come to be our union's highest award, the President's Organizing Award. As I know many of you will remember, we lovingly call this the Hat Award. The award is a model of a hat Joe Burns, CWA's first president, would often wear. It is a testament to our CWA tradition of paying forward our union power to future generations of workers. Joe would pass the hat at each organizing meeting to collect the funds he needed to cover travel costs of getting to the next group of telephone workers he was to visit. Over the years, this award has gone to individuals, locals, or CWA districts that have worked together to build our union. This year, I am proud to present this award to a group of locals who have led the way in our tech worker organizing efforts. As we outlined in our recently passed convention resolution to organize the tech, media, and telecom industry, being the union of high-tech workers is nothing new for CWA. With the computing revolution and the growth of the internet, we are seeing waves of technological change that outpace any previous period in human history. At the same time, the economy and our privacy has been captured by major tech platform companies, including Facebook, Google, and Amazon. Like with the telephone and media broadcast, these tech platforms become more valuable with each new user. In the absence of meaningful consumer protections, these corporations have consistently put their short-term profits ahead of everything, ahead of the public good, before the safety of our kids, even ahead of our bedrock democratic freedoms. We've learned that Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg would actually end company meetings with a chant, "Companies over countries." It is past time for Congress, state, and federal regulators to rein in the power of big tech. Government must act to put the public good over the private fortunes of a handful of tech billionaires. What we have learned over the last few weeks from former Facebook employees who are blowing the whistle underscores this. In CWA, we know that the best regulatory tool is employee power, just cause, and a union contract. The best consumer safeguard is a union card in the worker's back pocket. We have a term for this. We call it regulating from below. The locals receiving the President's Organizing Award at this convention have stood shoulder to shoulder with tech workers who are standing up and fighting back, fighting for an end to discrimination, racism, and sexual harassment, fighting to build ethical technology that improves the world rather than profit-driven algorithms that drive hate and division, fighting for a union job and a voice in a democratic society, workers who are passionate and committed to regulating from below. These locals have brought more than 2,000 new high-tech workers into CWA, from established tech platforms to Silicon Valley startups, from media tech workers to digital ads and communication firms. You saw many of them in the video we showed earlier. Join me in congratulating CWA Canada, CWA Local 2336, the Alphabet Workers Union, CWA Local 1400, NABIT, CWA Local 31, CWA Local 1101, TNG, CWA Local 31222, and CWA Local 9410 for their outstanding work. I know this is just the beginning of our success in tech organizing. I want to thank each and every winner again for their hard work. As we say and we say and we say, organize, organize, organize. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations to everyone for your fantastic organizing work. I mentioned earlier that this organizing was possible despite labor laws in the United States that have been designed to give every advantage to the bosses. Thanks to your political and legislative work, we have begun to see changes in those laws so that every worker who wants to join a union can. We helped elect the most pro-labor president of our lifetimes. We won congressional majorities, however thin, that provide a path to make gains for working families. And those electoral victories mean that we now have the most pro-worker general counsel that the NLRB has ever seen, CWA's own Jennifer Abruzzo. Jennifer's stirring memos to NLRB staff open a new era for workers' rights. The bipartisan infrastructure bill gives preference for broadband build-out funding to high-road employers that follow labor laws, the first time that such requirements have been attached to broadband funding. The Build Back Better plan includes parts of the PRO Act that would impose real penalties on employers and corporate executives who break the law. Our next set of awards recognize the districts and locals who have helped make some of these achievements possible by strengthening our political program through fundraising, education, and mobilizing. I'm proud to introduce IUE CWA President Carl Kennebrew to present these awards.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks to the efforts of our members, CWA PATH raised almost $8.1 million in 2019 and 2020 combined. That's an $18,500 increase from what was raised during the previous 2 years. CWA PATH is funded through voluntary contributions from our members. Raising this much for our political program is a tremendous accomplishment, in light of the fact that we have lost membership during this time frame. And we did it during a global pandemic, which severely restricted our ability to have workplace conversations around the importance of contributing to PATH. The pandemic challenged us to be more creative in our PATH fundraising, and we are continuing to look for new and innovative ways to increase our PATH contributions. Thanks to all of the local leaders and members for the work you have done to make this program a success. The list of CWA Political Action Fund Honor Locals is posted on the Convention Reports page on CWA's website. This year's award recognized outstanding achievement in political action during the combined calendar years of 2019 and 2020. But I believe you are all winners for the work we've done together. Brothers and sisters, this year, not only will we be honoring the districts and locals with the outstanding numbers of percentages of PATH funds and members, we will also be acknowledging the individuals who have exhibited pioneering efforts in PATH fundraising and reaching political and legislative goals. Beginning with the President's Award for Political Action Achievement Awards, there are 2 districts that stand out from the rest. Between the 2 districts, they raised $4,043,064.64, which is almost half of the total PATH contributions during 2019 and 2020. The 2 districts will honor this convention. We will honor this convention are once again District 1 and District 6. Dennis Traynor, District 1 Vice President, your district has won 2 local awards and 2 district awards. So let's start with the local awards. Local President Thomas Lane of Local 1395, your local once again has had the highest percentage of members contributing to CWA PATH at $1 or more per week at an incredible 92%. Congratulations to Thomas and all of the officers and members of Local 1395. Local President Keith Purse of Local 1101, for the first time, your local has had the highest number of members contributing to CWA PATH at $1 or more per week with an average of 1,174 members. District 1 has 2 district awards. District 1 raised the most PATH dollars during 2019 and 2020 for a total of $2,299,395.23. District 1 also had the most members contributing to PATH at $1 or more per week with an average of 7,525 contributors. Congratulations to Dennis and all of the staff, officers, and members in District 1 for their great work. Now, District 6. Vice President Claude Cummings has a long history of maintaining great PATH fundraising efforts. For their work over the last 2 years, District 6 has won 1 local award and 1 district award. For the local award, I would like to congratulate Local 6215 President Nancy Brown. Your local has contributed the most CWA PATH dollar during 2019 and 2020 for a total of $263,065.45. District 6 has once again won the award for the highest percentage of members contributing at $1 or higher per week with an average of 17.3%. Congratulations, Claude and all of District 6 staff, locals, and members for a job well done. Now I'd like to present on behalf of the board 2 other awards. During the last election cycle, CWA members engaged like never before in the presidential, congressional, state, and local elections. Our hard work delivered a pro-union president and a pro-worker Congress. CWA was instrumental in many of the tight races all around the country in delivering these nail-biter wins. It's been a while since we presented the Paul Wellstone and Maxine Lee Awards, and we felt that this year was a good year to bring them back to recognize some of the amazing work done by CWA members this past election cycle. The Paul Wellstone Award was established in 2004 in memory of CWA's special relationship with U.S. Senator Paul Wellstone. This award is to recognize the individual, group of individuals, local, district, or sector that uses political action to further the union's collective bargaining, organizing, or legislative goals. Paul Wellstone said, "The future will belong to those who have a passion and are willing to work hard to make our country better." That is exactly what our award recipients did. This year, we would like to award the Paul Wellstone Award to the Georgia State LPAT team for conducting an aggressive member education and mobilizing campaign to build political power in the state, and for having a passion to make the country better for workers and worker families. Their years-long effort to build political power for Georgia CWA members culminated in a victory not just for them, but the entire country when they were able to secure the election of 2 pro-worker United States senators in a runoff election in January. These 2 Senate seats gave control of the Senate to a pro-worker Democratic majority, and their efforts enabled CWA to have a stronger chance to enact policy priorities like COVID relief, pro-worker broadband funding, protecting the fairness of our elections, and labor law reform. The political power that the Georgia LPAT team has built has also enabled us to secure political support for organizing campaigns in Georgia at the United States Campus Workers, Floyd County Productions, Lonzatica, and more. Congratulations to District 3 Vice President Richard Honeycutt, State LP Coordinator Tony Tilley, and the entire Georgia LPAT team. Lastly, the Maxine Lee Award was established in March 1985 in honor of Maxine Lee, a pioneer in CWA's political action fundraising and her many years of outstanding service to the CWA Political Action Fund and CWA's political action programs. This year's award will be presented to the individuals who have a record of pioneering efforts in CWA's political action fundraising and political action. This year, the Maxine Lee Award is being awarded to District 9 Vice President Frank Arce and the entire District 9 LPAT team. District 9 has established a very comprehensive political training program to help its members develop the skills to become successful LPAT activists. They have consistently incorporated PATH into all of the trainings and have helped a wide range of members understand why PATH is critical to our union's success. By doing so, they have greatly increased PATH contributions all across the district. Thank you, Freight, and the District 9 LPAT team.
Thank you, Carl. CWA members have been supporting the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation for over 25 years. EGPAF seeks to end global pediatric HIV and AIDS through prevention and treatment programs, research, and advocacy. Your generous donations have played a critical role in putting an end to pediatric AIDS within reach. After this short video highlighting the Foundation's work, AFA CWA International President Sarah Nelson will recognize those locals who have raised the most money for EGPAF over the past 2 years.
Hi everyone, my name is Dee. I'm a Senior Youth Ambassador at Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation. Young girls under 20 who become HIV positive, it's just overwhelming for them. We need the support that we don't get at home. EGPAF was really there to help. It really has been there for me, EGPAF. I'm a true example. You can be HIV positive and have a negative family. I have a negative family. Mothers are the ones in the forefront in making an AIDS-free generation.
Good afternoon, union siblings. It's my pleasure to present the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation Awards. Over the past 25 years, CWA members, together with your leadership, have been extremely generous and raised almost $9 million on behalf of the foundation. Give yourselves a virtual round of applause. This money has been used to advance the foundation's research, training, and advocacy programs worldwide. Because 2020 was an off year for convention, we'll be presenting both the 2019 and 2020 award years. In 2019, we had 308 locals that participated in our Charity of Choice program, contributing $188,714.29. In 2020, we had 260 locals that participate in our Charity of Choice program, contributing $155,469.89. This is still an amazing achievement considering the challenges we are all currently facing with how busy we really have been. Thank you so much for your ongoing support and generosity. I want to take a moment to acknowledge a special group of locals before we give out the official awards. Each of these locals contributed at least 200% of their quota of $1 per member per the years 2019 and 2020. Many of these locals do an amazing job fundraising, so they don't put pressure on their already stretched treasuries. I would like to congratulate the following locals for their contributions of 200% or more. For 2019, 7203 President Michael Goltz, 7812 President Kenneth Harding, 4484 President James Crozier, 7272 President Samuel Finseth, 4025 President Mark Kavanaugh, 7803 President Darren Hartman, 7050 President David Blackburn, 7026 President Shad Erkanbrak, 13572 President Todd Trotter, and for 2020, 1107 President John Buchan, 7601 President Michael Ray, 51021 President Paul Spadafora, 7812 President Kenneth Harding, 7272 President David Holzer, 31222 President Vinay Cherwu, 7803 President Darren Hartman. Let's recognize the two locals who managed to contribute 200% in both 2019 and 2020, President David Holzer and President Darren Hartman. Let's give them a virtual round of applause. Now, on to the official awards. The Ariel Glaser Award and the Hope Award. In keeping with the percentages, the Hope Award is presented to the locals that achieve the highest percentage of their quota each year. This year, we'll be honoring 5 locals that not only achieved at least 200% of their quota, but also reached the highest percentage of their local size in 2019 and 2020. In the category of locals with less than 100 members, the first award goes to local 13572. They raised an amazing 3,125% of their quota in 2019. Congratulations, President Todd Trotter. Our next award goes to the local in the same category that reached the highest percentage in 2020. Congratulations to President Kenneth Harding and local 7812 for raising 256% of their quota in 2020. Your efforts are so appreciated. In the category of locals between 100 and 500 members, the next awards go to President Shad Erkanbrak, local 7026, who raised 1,982% of their quota in 2019, and to President Vinay Cherwu, local 31222, for raising 330% of their quota for 2020. Thank you both for the commitment you've made to the foundation's efforts and your locals' commitment too. And finally, in the category of locals with greater than 500 members, we have one local that has raised the highest percentage for both 2019 and 2020 award years. The Hope Award goes to local 7803, respectively, for raising 536% of their quota in 2019 and 409% for their quota in 2020. Thank you, President Darren Hartman, local 7803, for your local's tremendous dedication to supporting this cause. Our thanks and congratulations go out to all the members of these 5 locals for their great support. Fantastic job, everyone. Next, the Ariel Glaser Award is in honor of Elizabeth Glaser's daughter, who died from complications from the AIDS virus at the age of only 7 years old in 1988. The Ariel Glazier Award is presented to the local that raised the most money in a given award year. This year, there is one local in particular who has reached this accomplishment for both award years. They achieved it in 2017 and 2018, and now we are honoring them again for 2019 and 2020. The Ariel Glazier Award is presented to, you might have guessed it, Local 1037 for raising an astounding $8,812 in 2019 and $9,250 in 2020. Thank you again, President Ken McNamara, for your and your locals' amazing accomplishment and continued dedication to this worthy cause. Please give all of our locals a big virtual round of applause.
For our final report of the evening, CWA Canada President Martin O'Hanlon will discuss the important work of the Eduardo Diaz International Solidarity Fund, which is supported by voluntary contributions from CWA locals.
CWA has a long history of standing with workers all around the world and supporting the efforts to organize and strengthen labor unions. CWA President Joe Burns said in 1965 that for CWA, aiding other democratic trade unions throughout the world is a fundamental part of our commitment, and that supporting them is a goal as basic to CWA as the winning of better working conditions for our members in the communications industry in this country. In 1959, CWA started directly supporting the work of trade unions throughout South and Central America, as well as the Caribbean. The union adopted a groundbreaking program of providing direct financial support to union leaders and unions that were struggling to form new independent unions in the communications sector. Over the years, that work has grown. In 1998, the 60th CWA convention adopted a resolution creating the Union to Union International Solidarity Fund. The fund is supported voluntarily by CWA locals at a minimum of 10 cents per member per year. Funds are used to support efforts by workers to form unions in industries important to CWA members. A special priority has been given to assisting efforts to raise the living standards of working women by supporting projects aimed at organizing and empowering women workers. In 2000, at the 62nd CWA convention, delegates approved a resolution renaming the Union to Union International Solidarity Fund to the Eduardo Diaz Union to Union Fund. Delegates took this step to honor the life and legacy of Eduardo. After years of activism in Districts 1, 2, and 6, Eduardo was appointed CWA's Director of International Affairs in 1998. Eduardo passed away at the age of 41, tragically, but he was doing the work he loved while attending an international labor conference in Scotland. During this time, Eduardo was instrumental in growing the international solidarity work of CWA and developing programs to assist telecom workers in Nicaragua, journalists in Bosnia, factory workers in Mexico, as well as projects in South Africa and El Salvador. CWA continues to honor the life and legacy of Eduardo Diaz and the 50+ years of supporting the global labor movement through the Eduardo Diaz Fund. Over the last 2 years, we have been able to support 2 inspirational worker organizing efforts in Mexico and the Philippines. The first is RED in Mexico. RED is a group of young, dedicated organizing workers who are organizing call center workers at AT&T call centers in Mexico City. They have been successful in mapping out work at several AT&T call centers and identifying some that serve the US market. This work has proved invaluable as we explore ways to use the labor enforcement provisions of the new US-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, the new NAFTA. Workers in Mexico are often covered by what are called protection unions. They're nothing more than sweetheart deals between a corrupt union and a company management. Workers don't know they have a union, who their leaders are. They don't have a chance to vote on those leaders, and they aren't aware or allowed to see the contract or ever have a chance to vote on a contract. Thanks to the pressure of congressional Democrats, the new USMCA trade agreement creates mechanisms for workers at companies engaged in international commerce to have free and independent unions. Our support of RED has allowed organizers to research if and where these protection contracts exist at AT&T call centers in Mexico, and to make contacts with workers who want an independent and real union. Because that work started before we knew that these provisions would exist in the new trade agreement, US funding mandated by congressional Democrats through the Department of Labor has been provided to take the work to the next level. Our early investment in the work of RED, and now with the additional resources from the US government, We are hopeful that call center workers in Mexico will have a chance to organize a free and democratic union, and that allow the workers to negotiate contracts that benefit Mexican call centers, raising the floor for all call center workers at AT&T. The second group that has received support from the Eduardo Diaz Fund over the last 2 years is the BPO Industry Employee Network, or BIEN, in the Philippines. CWA first started working with BIEN in 2016, when their leadership reached out during the Verizon strike to ask how they could help. A delegation of striking Verizon members went to the Philippines to hold a joint action at a call center taking struck customer service calls. Since then, another delegation of CWA members, led by District 7 Vice President Brenda Roberts, visited with BIEN leaders and activists in 2019. BIEN is working to organize call center workers in the Philippines, and with our support, they are training frontline activists about their limited rights under the country's labor laws and providing paralegal support. The pandemic has already made difficult working conditions even worse for these workers, as many are being forced to sleep in the call centers between the shifts because of the COVID lockdowns in the country. They are also attempting to organize workers in what has been classified by Human Rights Watch as one of the most dangerous places in the world for union organizers. With the tacit support of the right-wing authoritarian regime of President Rodrigo Duterte, BIEN leaders are being tagged on social media and in public as communist terrorists. This designation is basically an open license for them to be killed by right-wing vigilantes. In fact, sadly, a dear friend to CWA and BIEN, activist Sarah Alfaraz, was routinely harassed on social media last summer as a communist terrorist. And late last summer, Sarah was gunned down in the middle of the street by a hit squad. Sisters and brothers, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in honor of Zara and the dozens of brave trade union activists and leaders, people doing the same work that we all do each and every day, that have been assassinated over just the last 2 years in the Philippines. We're fortunate to have a video from BIEN that we'd now like to show.
The BPO Industry Employees Network, or better known as BIEN, has been one of the leading organizations in the Philippines in the business process outsourcing industry for over 9 years. BIEN tasked itself to educate, to organize, and to mobilize the largest number of BPO workers for the betterment of our sector. The BPO industry is a largely non-unionized industry with an estimated workforce of 1.3 to 1.6 million. In terms of its contribution to the Philippines economy, the industry has shown its resiliency by generating about $26 billion in 2020 alone, and is expected to recruit 500,000 more workers this 2021. The BPO workers have been one of the economic drives of our country, wherein amidst ashfall, earthquake, and flooding, they must go to work in order to meet service level. Even with the virus around, we BPO workers braved the pandemic, risking our health and safety. These are all due to the business continuity. But despite these sacrifices, workers are experiencing massive job displacement, continued attacks on their right to security of tenure, retrenchment, and inability to freely organize themselves as unionism is being demonized currently in the country.
BIEN found the need to build capacity, to equip them with knowledge on labor rights and social protection. We hold leadership training workshop on workplace mapping, paralegal, and occupational health and safety. We advance rights and welfare through policy, recommendation, and dialogues with stakeholders. All of this has been realized with our solidarity and linkage with unions like Communication Workers of America. With CWA's help, we were able to echo our campaign on workers' condition at the workplace in the international platform. We have been successful with exposing precarious work in the industry being fueled by corporate greed and political repression. CWA have been very instrumental in BIEN's small wins in pushing for work-from-home arrangement at the onset of the pandemic, especially for workers in AT&T account for a third-party vendor.
In our national expansion with a tremendous material and political support, we were able to grow from measly chapters in Metro Manila to about 5,000 to 6,000 strong members nationwide. This is because of the organizational support that CWA have extended to our full-time organizers doing the groundwork for BIEN in different hubs and in different cities. CWA also stood behind us with our campaign to free Ann Kruger from illegal arrest and detention, and against union repression like in the case of unified employees of Alorica. CWA also called out Philippine government on the vilification campaign against BIEN and to its executive officers and organizers.
With this massive support and inspiration from the largest union in the USA, with our strong global solidarity that cut across sectoral and national border, BIEN will continue to build strength to be at the forefront of the BPO workers' fight for the workers' right and welfare. We will persevere to unite all BPO workers for union building and to eventually collectively bargain. And to this, BIEN will keep advancing in our fight with CWA, and we congratulate everyone in this convention. Solidarity from the Philippines.
One voice, one industry. BPO workers unite!
Lastly, we've included in your convention materials the list of locals that voluntarily support the Eduardo Diaz Fund. If your local is not on that list, please consider supporting this important work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to help us recognize the outstanding contributions of so many of our members to the success of our union and the global movement for workers' rights. As I told convention delegates last month, I believe that we have all the right conditions for another labor revolution. A pro-labor president, overwhelming public support, and a renewed understanding that we are responsible for one another's well-being. Every day we are writing our own story, one that will be told and held up as inspiration to generations of labor activists after us. And we will keep fighting until our story has a happy ending, so that when our children and grandchildren read the history we are making today, they will learn how the 2020s were the time when CWA led the way to rebuild our labor movement. I love you all, and I am proud to stand with and fight alongside every one of you as we rebuild together. Because we are CWA, and when we fight, we win.